Most technologies are born with a clear purpose, a specific problem, at a specific moment in time. They are built to do one job well, and for a while, they do exactly that, nothing more, nothing less. But sometimes a tool becomes so effective that it outlives the problem it was created for. And when that happens, it doesn't disappear. It doesn't shut itself down. Instead, it starts looking for new reasons to exist. This is a story about surveillance, but not surveillance as we think of it today. This is about the kind that came before, the kind that had limits, that had intent, and that was never meant to become what it eventually did. The world that demanded this kind of watching was shaped by uncertainty. The Cold War wasn't a war of open battles. It was a war of information, of intentions, of knowing what the other side might do before they did it. Every decision carried enormous weight. Every miscalculation risked catastrophe. In that environment, not knowing was dangerous. Leaders needed visibility into places they could never physically reach. They needed early warning. They needed signals before actions. Surveillance wasn't born from paranoia. It was born from necessity. The cost of being wrong was simply too high. Silence itself became a threat. The absence of information could be deadlier than the information itself. And so watching became a tool of survival. The earliest systems were simple, at least by today's standards. Signals intelligence, monitoring communications, tracking strategic movements. These systems weren't designed to watch populations. They focused outward on governments, military installations, and critical infrastructure. Their mission was narrow. Their purpose was clear. The data existed to warn, not to accumulate. Everything required humans, human operators, human analysts, human judgment. Information moved slowly. Decisions took time, and the technology itself imposed natural limits. For a long time, that was enough. The boundaries were clear. There were defined targets, defined reasons for collection, defined rules for how information could be used. Surveillance served the mission. The mission did not serve surveillance, but change rarely arrives all at once. It creeps in, quietly, almost unnoticed. The technology improved. It became faster, more efficient, more automated. What once took days now took minutes. And as the systems grew more capable, they began to collect more, not because the mission expanded, but because the technology allowed it. Capability began to outgrow purpose. A quiet gap formed between what these systems were meant to do and what they were now able to do. The original threats were finite, but the technology had no such limits. It could listen longer, reach further, remember everything. The systems were built to answer questions, but now they were creating new ones. If this information can be collected, should it be? If something can be monitored, does that mean it must be? If the capability exists, does that alone justify its use? The problem stayed the same size. The solution kept growing. Human judgment still mattered. People still chose what to prioritize, what to investigate, what to ignore. Oversight still existed, but the volume of information changed the weight of every decision. When you can see everything, how do you decide what matters? When a system can tell you anything, what do you ask it? The technology didn't remove human choice. It made that choice heavier. Once a surveillance system exists, it becomes difficult to scale it back, not because of malice, but because of momentum. Infrastructure gets built, investments are made, people rely on it, and the system works. Each small expansion feels reasonable. If this much information is useful, a little more must be better. Step by step, the boundaries shift, quietly, gradually, until one day you realize you are far from where you started. The system was built for a moment in history, a specific conflict, a specific enemy. That moment passed, the world changed, the threats evolved, but the system remained, still watching, still collecting, still searching for purpose, in a world very different from the one that created it.